You can sort of see why this is bad news, and it's difficult to use some of the more expensive skirmish units like Peltas. Actually, what he'd hoped to do here again was, was as soon as I stopped my infantry unit, he was hoping I'd turn him around and put him right back in line, but I just stopped him and faced him in the same direction, and he couldn't use them. And you can see that Peltas unit's gone all the way down to 53 men. It was previously at 80 something just a couple seconds ago, and this one's at 55. So this is why it's very difficult to use Peltas against a player who knows what he's doing and how to counter them. Alright, so now he's decided enough of the silliness, let's get an infantry battle going. So he's going to move his pikes forward, and he's strongly supported these pikes with the Agranian assault infantry, as well as the one unit of boy swords. They should be pretty sufficient in defending the flanks of the phalanx, especially with all that cavalry over there. Well, what I intend to do, of course, is just face him up with these guys in guard mode. It's a pretty unbroken front there. It'll be difficult for the phalanx to crack. And then I have the Nietos on the flanks. If I need to, they can just sit in guard mode too. They're heavily armored. But they can also wrap around and kill stuff with their long swords. And then I have armor-piercing infantry on the flanks. And you can see my Macedonian ally sort of moved up to meet me. There's not that much going on this side of the battle at this point, unfortunately. This battle sort of turned out that this side decided the majority of it. Not to discount the events on this side, because Vasilefs eventually does get the upper hand. But really the game will end up ending, or when the Greek player realizes that it's basically a 2-on-1, and that if he doesn't have the upper hand on his side, there's no way he's going to win. Okay, so I moved the spearmen out here to sort of counter his cavalry, mobile counter for his cavalry, because I intend on flanking quickly. And you can see what these Nietos are doing. Now he has his Peltas here, and his Peltas are still at 40 men, and they still probably have a lot of javelins. So he's saying, well, if you're going to charge your Nietos in, expose your backs, I'll toss some javelins in there. Gets a couple kills off, and I realized that that's what he was going to do, so I immediately pulled him back, because I don't want to lose my Nietos, they're an expensive unit. And I pull the Iberian assaults in, toss a whole bunch of javelins at these Agranians. I was also shooting at these Agranians, that's why they're windowing so fast. Hoping to create a rout effect over here. I don't get the rout as soon as I would have liked, but I get it relatively quickly. You can see I move my Samnites up here. Again, sort of form a mobile wall against his cavalry. And I start moving my Numidian nobles in. Numidian nobles are lancers, but they also have javelins. So they're relatively effective. They're lightly armored. They'll die relatively quickly, especially to archer fire. But they fight decently well in melee. And they have a decent charge. Okay, so now you can see he's forming sort of a blob over here. Phalanx has engaged. I flanked on this side, but he brings his levy spears in support. What I actually did here is I had my Nietos, and he was about to attack them, and I ran this unit of Libyan Phoenician infantry in front of the Nietos, and he formed a wall right before he could reach them. And now I've got Scutarii on the flanks. This unit of Agranians routes because they don't have many men, and I hit them with javelins. Now this is where GameGeek makes his major mistake. He sends the Hetairai Aspidoroi out sort of on a fool's errand to chase down these Numidian nobles. He doesn't need both of them. One would probably do, but he sends both. He neglects the Loncophora Hippies. You can see I hit him with the charge over here, so it hurts his Peltas on that flank. And I managed to engage his Loncophora with my Samnite medium spearmen. Cause a little damage, then tire them out, make them run around. Never a bad thing. I send this unit of Samnites out here, just to sort of form a barrier if they should try to return. Maybe they'll get hung up on these guys. I also send the slingers out to support them. Now you can see a wall forming on this side here. My units are mostly armor-piercing, but again, his units are mostly not. Pretty light, and they're also armor-piercing, so this is actually an advantage for him. But my Numidian nobles are running around here, causing a lot of damage. I got this unit of boys can get those. The boy are relatively strong fighters, but they have suspect discipline and morale, especially discipline. So changes like cavalry charges in their backs and being surrounded taking a lot of casualties quickly. Those things will tend to rout them. And here he comes in with a really good charge. He comes very close to routing this unit where I caught his Scutarii. In fact, he probably would have routed it if he'd stayed in there, but he pulls out a little too soon. And that gives them a chance to get back to Eager. They still have the majority of the unit, and they're carving away at the back of the tally. Now out here, I bring my unit of Brehenton around. He's sending a unit up over here to charge. You can see I intercept this charge, and I actually stop him from charging entirely. It turns into marching instead of charging. And now they're trapped. And a rout's going to occur. There you can see it. Over here on this side, he pulled these guys back, but he didn't really get in a good charge. So they're still fighting, and my Numidian nobles are countering his unit of Peltas over here. Those cavalry are still chasing after my Numidian nobles. I get in a charge over here. It's relatively ineffective with the Brehenton. He counters this unit of Agranians he's held in reserve. I have my spear unit coming in, and I decided I want to pin them with the spear unit instead of pursuing his cavalry. Sort of keep them in place so I can use my cavalry. And you can see here I move my cavalry over here, turn and face, and I target this phalanx unit. And this is going to cause a rout. And with that, I've opened up a gap in his lines. And he brings in this cavalry behind, and I just turn to face them. My Numidian nobles are over here just throwing javelins at the Peltas. They've been whittled down. This unit breaks. So the Scutarii come in behind his cavalry. He's pulling in units from the back here. They're not going to get there quite in time. In fact, they're going to get there in time just to be affected by the rout, and then that'll also cause them to rout. The poor boy in this battle don't really get much fighting, and they get a lot of running though. Okay, so here you can see my infantry comes in, and my Numidian nobles. Meanwhile, out here, he killed my Numidian nobles, but my Samnites trapped both his units of Atyrus Medora. He couldn't really ask for much more. So I pull my slingers back. Yeah, rout the Luncaphore, and the boy immediately rout, probably because these guys are coming up in their flank as well. And then I charge them in against the Luncaphore here to pin them. My Salients are getting their asses handed to them by these Agranians, but they'll be alright. He pulls his spears back now because he tries to create a tight little circle over here. So I rise to meet him so I can surround him. And meanwhile, over on this side of the battle, you can see there's a lot of chaos. There's a big cavalry battle. The Macedonians got the better of that. You would expect that. The Greeks are meanwhile getting the better of the infantry battle. But it's very close. Could turn at any moment. I send in my Scutarii to assist against the Agranians. And I route this unit over here. And I still got a decent ball over here. Now I got my slingers firing into the backs of these guys, and I'm about to hit them with a cavalry charge. And that causes them to break. And with that, he commits defeat, knowing that he has nothing to cover his rear. And now, seeing that he missed defeat, I just immediately run my cavalry over here, hoping to get a big charge in. I realize it's not really needed. The Macedonian player is getting the upper hand at this point. And Shak, seeing my cavalry arrive, realizes he really doesn't have much of a chance, and I miss defeat as well. So, good game to Shak, and Game Geek, and Vasilefs. This was a really fun battle. I enjoyed it a lot. And anytime we can get a 2v2 going in EB, it's always a lot of fun. Alright, so I'll see you guys next time.